Hello. Oops, don't look. There we go. So this past week, much like a lot of us, situated on my couch, in my sweatpants, thoroughly judging every Met Gala look, with no actual valid credentials to do so. Now that has nearly nothing to do with what this video is about. Aside from, I'm going to be reviewing year old embarrassing Halloween costumes. One of my favorite things is when people post childhood photos of their costumes. For some reason, I feel like you can't have a Halloween costume memory without having something slightly traumatizing. Ain't that just the way? So will you come with me on this wholesome Halloween journey? Well, you're still here, so I'm assuming that's a yes. So on Ye Olde Instagram, I set up a little casting call of sorts where I asked people to send me their embarrassing and silly childhood photos, or not so childhood, of their Halloween costumes. I got some good ones. I got just about like 400 emails, no doubtedly left until this morning to read. Let me tell you, I had a great morning. So wholesome, so spoopy. Best thing I've ever done. I regret nothing. I selected some of my favorites and I thought it might be fun to go through them, to rate them, and review them. Okay, I also figured it might be fun as a little aside, bake some pumpkin bread, because I've always wanted to do that. So we will take a little bread baking intermission, but for now. What's happening? No, I don't want... Now, unfortunately, I don't really have any pictures of when I was a young trick-or-treater. Being the youngest child, I think. At that point, my parents were like, cameras? So, unfortunately, I had some bangers. Is that the right use of that word? I don't know. I gotta stop using slang. Let us begin. First one is from Ellen. I really feel like that Amanda Bynes skit on all that. Hi, Rachel. That's me. When I was in second grade, every morning we did a grammar exercise. There was one of those giant notepads and the teacher would write a sentence with some errors in it. My nerd ass loved this and apparently thought, you know how this could be better? If I wore it. So I asked for some old sheets, got them laminated in the office, and wore them as a confusing sandwich board of a Halloween costume. Okay, all I can say is that we love a creative queen. What are you dressed up as? Homework. Next one is from a fellow... Why can't I talk? From a fellow Rachel. Here's my first Halloween costume. Here is my very first Halloween costume. I was a devil and I think the eyebrows make it. I just thought this one was cute. You know the trope of having an angel and a devil on your shoulder? I want this image to be my devil. Do it. This one is from Candace. So I was about 7 here and I really wanted to be a mime, but I didn't know that word and I kept telling my mom I wanted to be a clown. She would paint my face similar to this and I'd freak out and tell her it was wrong. But I got so upset I started crying and was dubbed the saddest clown in town. Oh man, girl. If I could tell you how many times I'm in the middle of doing a cosplay makeup and this is how I feel. Oh man, I think a lot of these selections are purely kids being distraught. Because I think it's so funny. Should I be rating these? Okay, 7 out of 10 balloons. The subject line of this one says, porcupine wearing pantyhose in post-Soviet Poland, which... that subject line, in and of itself, I would imagine needs to be on a plaque underneath a painting in a fine art museum. And the email reads, for some reason this was the only time the preschool hired a photographer. Best regards, Isabella, former quill pig. So cute. Look at the little tights. Oh man, she looks like she's gonna go paint the town red. Give them the old razzle dazzle. This one is from Helen. Subject reads, my mom and her sister's strange and horrifying Halloween costumes. My grandmother used to dress my mom and her older sister in the strangest and sometimes creepiest Halloween costumes. The second picture of the very unsettling Tin Man and Scarecrow is from 1976. All I gotta say is prepare yourselves. I'm not saying if I saw these coming down my driveway, I would immediately deadbolt my door. That is all. Wholesome break. So this is from Chris. When I was a kid, I rode horses competitively and we had a Halloween party at the barn where we had to dress up the horse and ourselves. So precious. I'm really enjoying the level of side-eye coming from this horse. If I had to rate this one, it would be 12 out of 15. There is something moving. This one's from Maggie. My mom was a big clown lover. And she made most of my costumes as a kid. She made the wig out of yarn, stocking cap, did my makeup, and to top it off, she made me wear balloons. Not sure what the logic was behind that, to hide my winter coat. As you can tell in the photo, I look super unhappy because we went out trick-or-treating to the neighbor's house when they jumped out and scared me. I screamed, ran down the stairs, and was sobbing. Oh no! Also, can we get a moment of appreciation for moms who make Halloween costumes? As someone who someday is going to make the most ridiculous and extravagant costumes for my future offspring, I see you, moms. This one's from Maddie. I was so excited for trick-or-treating that year. My mom made me the costume, and of course I'd go and get sick. I remember laying on the couch and wanted to tough it out and go. So eventually my mom took me out, equipped with plastic bag, not sure if it was for the candy or in case I vomited. Oh, that was so sad. She's had a rough night, okay. This one is from Ellen. My name is Ellen and I live in Denmark. Here we celebrate another thing called fastelavn, where we also dress up. My mother used to sew costumes, and when I was 6 years old, I wanted to be a squid. Every class had to select someone to catwalk in front of the whole school in order to win different awards like the most creative costume or the scariest costume. And in the end, I won the prize for least recognizable. Also, I once zoomed in on the photo and saw that I was smiling underneath the mask, but the result is straight up nightmare material. You're welcome. Oh. Oh. Yeah, it's a work of art. 8 out of 8 tentacles. How many tentacles does a squid have?
8 arms and 2 tentacles. Each of the arms is a different length.
8 arms and 2 tentacles? They have arms? Don't like that. 2 out of 2 tentacles. Wholesome break. From Liz, here's me, my mom, and my teddy bear as clowns. The outfits were made by my great aunt, who made me so many dresses and doll clothes. I just thought this was cute. She looks so happy. From Cammie. I'm not sure if this was actually around Halloween, but hopefully it counts. This is a photo of my 2 brothers, a guard and henchman of sorts, me in the princess dress, and my identical twin sister, who we somehow convinced to be the villain. Personally, I just enjoyed this one for the very villainous mustache, various facial hairstyles. Completely side note, but I remember one time we went on a carnival cruise. There was this daycare kind of situation. They were having pirate day. You dress up as a pirate and face painting was optional. Naturally, had a brilliant mustache painted on my face, and none of the other girls opted for it, and I thought that was strange. When you have the chance to wear or grow a mustache, as the great Hilary Duff once said, why not? Take a crazy chance. This one is from Holly Rose. One of my favorite parts of doing this was finding out how different Halloween or Samhain is for other people, or even just holidays that are similar in different traditions. For this one, she is from Ireland. I'm not sure what costumes were like in North America in the 90s, but for myself, my partner, and our families in Ireland, your costume consisted of your ma or da's clothes, with the pinnacle of staple pieces for your costume was always the incomparable black bin bag, or trash bag in parentheses. Thank you for Americanizing that for me. What's a black bin bag? I only know trash bag. Get yourself a handy dandy bin bag, cut a hole for the arms and neck, grab yourself a plastic nose and paper hat, and bam, you got yourself a witch costume. Leave a bit of bread and water out the night before Halloween. This is of course when spirits pass through your home, as the veil has been lifted, so having the bread and water is offering for them to bless you and give you a healthy and happy you as they protect you from evil. There is the glorious trash bag. I also enjoyed this photo because that sassy little dog is the devil.
There is only Zool.
This is another one I thought was very wholesome. Oh, I forgot to rate that last one. 7.5 out of 8 trash bags. This one is from Anna. First we have me as Humpty Dumpty. My mom may have made it, but I 100% did not want to wear it. I specifically remember crying about it as my mom stuffed it full of paper towels. Tell me that is not the cutest little Humpty Dumpty you ever saw in your damn life. Hamming it up for the camera, you would never know that you didn't want to wear it because I think you look great. This one is from Lindsay. Please feast your eyes upon the most traumatizing Halloween costume of my life. My aunt worked for the Dr. Pepper company, so when I was young, my family got a lot of weird DP swag, including this monstrosity. My parents insisted that I wear it for my preschool's Halloween parade, and as you can tell, I was not pleased. Not only was it bulky and awkward, but all my classmates kept pretending to pop my top and drink out of me. But you look so cute though. I hope Dr. Pepper compensated you. That is free advertising. Use my code Lindsay for 20% off Dr. Pepper. That reminds me, someone in my neighborhood growing up, there was like the one house, they worked for Coca-Cola, I think. They would always give out those teeny little soda cans. I would always get a Sprite. Boy howdy, right halfway on our route. So I always knew that's the soda house. And now here I am, 29 years old, still talking about the soda house. This one is from Alice. I thought this was very wholesome. Subject line, a Halloween costume to cleanse your soul. Yes, it is I, Franklin the Turtle, circa 1994, and no child's Halloween costume is complete without the winter jacket, featuring my father literally painting on face paint with an actual paintbrush, uneven bangs. The 90s. I just thought this was cute. The dad putting on her makeup. Man. I'm so curious. It must have been nice to trick or treat without wearing a winter jacket and ruining your entire costume. Because here in Massachusetts, it was definitely either perfect, beautiful weather, or it was torrentially downpouring, or absolutely freezing. Getting in the car and trick or treating like an Uber. Stopping at every house, getting out, trick or treating, running back in the car, driving 20 feet. You get the idea. You know, if you're from like Florida, what was that like? This one is from Morvern. I have this photo of myself, probably age around 7 or 8. I nagged and nagged my parents to make me a Beetlejuice costume. We ended up making it out of a karate uniform, painting on the stripes and aging it. I remember being so ridiculously excited about it. I was all geared up, had my cozy clothes underneath the costume. I felt super prepared and ready to deliver some mischievous quips and jokes. But after leaving the house, I got all sheepish and embarrassed. Before folk would answer their doors, I would take the wig off and hide it. First of all, I love the confidence. And I just thought that story was really cute and kind of sad. I remember one time, I think I was like 15, and I was at a friend's Halloween party. I donned a super detailed Jack Sparrow out of like crap I had lying around the house, drew on facial hair and everything. I was having a great time. My crush showed up to the party, ran to the bathroom, ripped the wig off, furiously scrubbed my facial hair off. What a waste of a great costume. All for a boy. If they can't handle you at your drawn-on facial hair, they don't deserve you. I thought this one was really cute. We love a recreation. From Meredith. I feel like this is more cute, silly, but when I was 2 or 3, my mom made me a giant fish costume as big as me. 2019, Halloween fell on a Thursday, so I decided my costume would be a throwback Thursday, and I made an adult version. Tell me that's not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. Chef's kisses all around. I love it. Here's a good old vintage antique Halloween photo from Catherine. While I don't have an embarrassing Halloween photo of myself, I do have one of my father and uncles from 1956 through 8. That has been haunting me. I thought naturally I should haunt you with it too. Yeah. He gave me a bunch of family photos to frame in my new house, and I keep putting it off because where do I put something like this? Where don't you put that? Above the toilet, in the cupboard, every time you go to get a plate, a permanent installation in your mailbox. This one's from Sarah. So picture it. I'm 4 years old and obsessed with dinosaurs. Naturally, I had to be Aladar from the early 2000s Disney classic Dinosaur. It was a DVD that I watched so much, I ended up burning it out and stopped working. I had that little baby Aladar who like folded into an egg and then folded back out into a baby. I'm not saying they don't make toys like they used to, but I kind of am. I accessorized by smearing my face with a candy bar. You could say I peaked early. It should be noted that I live in Florida and it was honestly like 110 degrees. My little body was a puddle in layers of cotton fluff insulated by shiny dino skin. Honestly, you wouldn't know it because look at this confidence. I guess there's my answer. Either in a winter jacket or in a puddle of sweat. I thought this one was funny. It's by Elizabeth. Not a childhood story. I was 16 when Fantastic Four Silver Surfer came out. My siblings and I went as Reed Richards, Sue Storm, The Thing, and, well, Dr. Doom. But really a baked potato. The aluminum foil mask doesn't exactly hold its shape, and yes, it was very hot. I like the awkwardness of this photo too. You opted to remove yourself from the group. I included my glow up of making Dr. Doom again in 2018. Hell yeah, we love a glow up.
with the show.
This one is from Linnea. One year I was a fly, and I remember filling a beret with toilet paper to make it look more bulbous. Needless to say, I was not a very popular kid, but it never really bothered me, because I was a fly. They were not. My priorities were great. I think you might need to look into being a motivational speaker, because that was beautiful. This one's from Amanda. There were many a frigid Halloween in my childhood where our not-so-warm costumes were essentially ruined by my parents making us wear thermals or sweatsuits underneath. This is the only surviving photo of me on one of those cursed years, and as I stare into the cold, dead eyes of my youth, I think of what should have been. Two dainty little butterfly fairies merrily gathering candies at dusk. But instead, we had what I can best describe as two maniacal fairy cat ladies who tore up the streets for treats. Okay, but you cute though. This one's from Tiffany. I have always loved Halloween and I have always loved trick-or-treating, so of course every year my siblings and I would go hard for candy. Halloween of 23 or 2014, I was literally 17 years old, I believe. But that year, I really wanted to do a handmade costume. Handmade, not that. Blessed be the fruit. Deciding on a lion because of my curly/frizzy hair and because I do a great Cowardly Lion impression. Not wanting to break the bank, my mom and I decided to go to Walmart where we found a yellow tracksuit for cheap, as well as some plain brown felt that I hot glued to my stomach, white mittens, and lion ears to top off the look. Unfortunately that year, I noticed while trick-or-treating, I was getting mean looks from the people handing out candy. In one of the first houses, this old lady answers the door, looks me up and down and says, "Adults don't get candy," and proceeds to give everyone a piece except for me. I turned around and walked back to my mom, and finding me upset, she did the correct thing and snapped this photo of me. Oh, that's so sad. I would have given you candy. Ugh, this makes my eyes water. The photo has now become a running joke in and out of my family, so much that my best friend Liv and her boyfriend got this photo turned into a magnet that now hangs on their fridge. I recreated the photo a few years as well. Photo entitled, "A Sad Poo." Thank you, Tiffany. Wholesome break. This is from Meg. My Nana made a jack-o'-lantern costume. Apparently I loved it. 20 years later, Hercules, our bulldog, got to share the sentiment. 10 out of 10, good boy. This is from Jessie. Please enjoy this photo from Halloween 1999. Me and my little sister, yes, sister, she hates that I have to bring out this photo every year and remind her it exists. These tasteful costumes were put together about as last minute as you can get by my mom. All right, okay. I think we have a new devil on my shoulder. Quick one from Kelly. 90s Halloween fashion. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is how I feel every time I go out to eat and come back home. Just tired and my clothes seem to be really tight. I liked the story behind this one. This is from Samantha. I was allowed to watch horror movies at a very young age. I'm 9 in this picture, and usually they did not bother me except The Ring. That movie was so damn scary, I had nightmares for weeks. So my dad thought if I dressed up of what I was scared of for Halloween, I would learn that the movie wasn't real. Well, let me tell you, that shit did not work at all. Not only was I scared, now the whole neighborhood was freaking out. I went trick-or-treating in this getup, and people were tripping over themselves to get away from me. Older women were pulling their children to cross the street when they saw me coming. There was panic. There was no cute, "What are you dressed up as, sweetie?" type questions. These people knew who I was, and they were not happy about it. I was begrudgingly given candy at the few houses we went to until we finally had to go home, where I helped my mom hand out candy. Anyways, I still hate that movie. I would absolutely be terrified of you, but that means that you did a great job. This one is from Lena. The subject title, Halloween look. So when I was little, my mom would constantly find me in the bathroom painting my face or rubbing Vaseline over my face. For whatever reason, I don't know, mind your business. And I found these photos of when I did my own makeup. A timeless, monochromatic look. I thought there was a lot of sass in these photos and that it needed to be shared. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I still pose like this when I take outfit photos. From Emma. Hi, this is my favorite childhood costume. I'm probably 4. My 3 sisters and I went as Addams Family characters. I was Cousin Int. Pros. Grew up in Colorado, so I was the warmest and hid my turtleneck, sweatpants, and gloves. Cons. The hair kept getting in my eyes and I couldn't move my arms much, so I couldn't move the hairs. So I ended up just being poked and having watery eyes all night. What's Halloween without a little uncomfort and watery eyes? I remember I had this Amidala costume. I remember being so happy in it, and my mom face painted my face like hers. It had the most uncomfortable plastic headdress ever to exist. It had a little thing right here. God help me, I cannot understand why someone created and designed a kid's Halloween costume. Sharp bits of plastic that would just dig into your forehead all night. Oh, I was so uncomfortable all night. Not much has changed. Now I'm just an adult who goes to conventions in costumes and is uncomfortable the whole time. Here is the legendary, dreaded, infamous Queen Amidala costume. From Michelle. The photo attached is the year I went as Queen Amidala and my brother was Tigger. I remember thinking I looked like the real deal and was annoyed that my brother wasn't cool with Halloween. This is about right. This one's from Missy. I think this skews more terrifying than funny, but this is me in a Rainbow Bright costume that is essentially a printed garbage bag with a mask that has eye holes up in the bangs. I don't really remember anything about wearing this costume, but I think the look in my eyes says it all. Oh no. In which the look in your eye is pure terror. Ooh, it's giving me those aliens from Spice World vibes. From Taylor. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays and I've always loved dressing up. My grandma used to make my mom's costumes growing up, so my mom made ours too. One of my favorites was a robot costume that we made from scratch for me to wear to a costume party. The costume consisted of a cardboard box wrapped in wrapping paper, dryer vent tubes for the arms and legs, and my favorite pair of Looney Tunes high tops sneakers spray painted in silver. Needless to say, everyone loved the costume. However, once I tried to go trick-or-treating, the box severely impeded my ability to walk. I can't tell you how many times my dad had to pick me back up because I kept falling. I like that because it reminded me of TikTok. Help me up. Wholesome break from Emma. I dressed my puppy up as a pumpkin for her first Halloween, and for some reason the costume worked as an anti-stress jacket or something because she couldn't stay awake when she was wearing it. I dressed as a pumpkin farmer and had to carry her most of the time we were trick-or-treating because she was so sleepy when she had the costume on. Oh. Woo. It's fine. All right. One more. This is from Brienne. I went as my dad one year for Halloween. He's an artist, so I wore his signature suspenders and had him paint on a beard and glasses, but it was so annoying I licked off the mustache by the end of the night. A perfect one to end it on. Ta-da! It's just what I felt like doing this week. Loved seeing everyone's costumes and hearing the story behind them because, like I said, no childhood Halloween is complete without a sprinkle of tears, smudged makeup, and if you were lucky, a can of Sprite. I hope that you guys had fun, and I hope that maybe this video can start to get you in the Halloween mood. I know that I've been in that state for about 6 months already. I don't know. I had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to making all the autumn content once it doesn't feel like a terrarium outside. Also, if you're planning to have a Halloween costume this year, I'd love to know what it is because, again, I want to know everything about everyone. That is it. Thank you everyone who submitted. I love you whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload almost every Friday and we have fun here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye. Already shiny. Oh my god. We love a creative. The only time the preschool highlight.